Have you ever wondered why you or most of the black individuals you see are often struggling financially? White counterparts, on the other hand, seem to be doing well compared to black people. Now, what's the reason behind this financial disparity? Does it have anything to do with your skin color? For those who don't believe that money in America is related to the color of your skin, we have some shocking statistics to share. In the U.S., many black people live in poverty, with a few exceptions, as numerous reports have shown. What factors have led to this situation? Can someone be poor solely because of their skin color? Let's find out.
The Black History Archives.
In the United States, the racial disparities and poverty rates are tangled in historical injustices, economic difficulties, and educational gaps. This reveals how the past has a long-lasting effect on the present. Let's get real about it. Historical injustices have left a mark on the African American community that can't be erased. The segregation, unequal resources, and downright discriminatory policies are still felt today. The schools in minority neighborhoods often find themselves on the wrong side of the funding queue. Education should be the equalizer, but the reality is a bit harsher. Discriminatory disciplinary practices add fuel to the fire, hitting minority students harder. The result? A cycle of poverty that's tough to break. But wait, there's more to this story. Jobs, wages, benefits, the economic scene, all face discrimination. Racial disparities still exist in these aspects of society, creating an obstacle for many looking to climb the economic ladder. It's not just about landing a job. It's about getting a fair shot at a job that pays the bills and then some. Let's break it down even further. Picture this: systemic barriers to employment. It's not just about an individual's skills or qualifications. It's about fighting against all hurdles rooted in historical biases. It's like trying to find your way in the dark with a flickering flashlight, daunting and frustrating. Now let's talk about economic opportunities. For many minority groups, these opportunities are more elusive than a rare Pokemon. The cycle of unequal treatment tightens its grip, making it feel like breaking free from poverty is an impossible mission. It's like trying to escape quicksand. The harder you struggle, the deeper you sink. So what's the deal with these racial disparities and poverty rates? Here's a reminder to please support us so we can make more videos for you by subscribing to our channel and giving the video a like. We want to build a strong community and we need your support. Let's continue now. It's a mix of history, education, and economics, a cocktail of challenges that, when combined, create a tough reality for many African Americans. But why is this happening? Does history provide any answers to economic disparities? In the economic disparities in the United States, history has left a legacy that continues to shape the present. The narrative is not just about dates and events. It's about the impact of historical injustices that have seeped into the very fabric of our society. Let's rewind the clock and face the uncomfortable truths. Slavery, Jim Crow laws, redlining. These aren't just chapters in a history book. They are scars that run deep. The forced removal of Native Americans from their lands adds another layer to this complex narrative. It's like a series of unfortunate events that have shaped the economic world we live in today. The legacy of slavery, a stain on our past, still impacts the present. Discrimination, like a stubborn stain, persists, preventing Black Americans from accessing equal economic opportunities even after the chains of slavery were broken. It's like an invisible barrier limiting the potential for economic growth, a hurdle many are still trying to overcome. Enter redlining, a discriminatory practice that denied loans based on race. It's like drawing lines on a map, marking certain areas as off-limits for economic prosperity based on the color of one's skin. Now let's talk about the forced removal of Native Americans from their lands. It wasn't just about geographical displacement. It disrupted traditional economies, pushing Native communities into poverty. It's like pulling the rug out from under someone, a destabilizing act with lasting consequences. But we have talked about all this on our channel before. So are these the only reasons, or is there more to it? How does this impact us today? Fast forward to today, and the impacts of historical injustices are still felt. Discriminatory policies and practices in education and employment act as a roadblock to economic opportunity. The education system, meant to be a pathway to success, has been stained by discrimination. Unequal resources and biased disciplinary practices still exist. Employment, the gateway to economic well-being, is not immune to these historical disparities. Discriminatory practices in hiring and biased wage structures, it's like crossing a road with hidden traps. These systemic barriers make it challenging for individuals from historically marginalized communities to secure equal footing in the job market. But let's come to simple things. Yes, there have been issues that make it hard for Black people to make money. But is there anything more apparent? Let's start with easy things first. In the United States, a persistent racial pay gap is seen, particularly for Black workers. The numbers don't lie. There's a stark difference in paychecks, even when experience and education levels are on par. Let's break it down. Black workers consistently find themselves earning less than their white counterparts. Even with the same experience and education, Black men are getting just 98 cents for every dollar earned by their white colleagues in similar positions. It's a matter that raises eyebrows and demands attention. Now let's zoom in on the executive level, where the pay gap persists. Black men, striving for success in the boardroom, are still getting in at 97 cents for every dollar earned by their white counterparts. But wait, the story takes a more significant twist when considering Black women. In 2019, they faced a staggering 33.7% wage gap compared to their white male counterparts. The question remains, why the difference? Enter occupational segregation, a factor that plays a crucial role in this economic divide. Black workers often find themselves in industries that historically pay less than those dominated by white counterparts. Is it happening with other races too? What race receives what in terms of pay? In the United States, the diversity of median household incomes reveals disparities among racial and ethnic groups. At the top of the income hierarchy are Asian Americans, boasting the highest median household income. In 2022, their households recorded a median income of $108,700 million, which stands tall above the rest. White Americans follow closely behind, with a median income of $81,060. Meanwhile, Hispanic households have a median income of $62,800, and Black households trail with $52,860. These figures are more than just numbers. They represent the income gaps among racial and ethnic communities. Now let's shift our focus to the public and private sectors. In the public sector, the racial wage gap for Black and white workers is narrower than in the private sector. Zooming in on the private sector, weird things happen with Black men. Despite having the same experience and education in identical positions, Black men earn 98 cents for every dollar earned by their white counterparts. For Black women in 2019, the wage gap takes a more disheartening turn. Earning 33.7% less than their white male counterparts, it's like a glass ceiling that refuses to shatter. This discrepancy raises concerns about the intersectionality of gender and race, highlighting the need for a more comprehensive approach to wage equality. Delving into industries, it becomes evident that Black men are often found in lower-paying sectors, like social services, compared to their white counterparts in the same positions. As Black men ascend the corporate ladder, the racial wage gap widens, a disheartening trend that challenges the notion of meritocracy. It's like climbing a mountain where the peak seems to move farther away as one progresses. This demands a critical examination of corporate structures and policies contributing to this widening gap. Behind the scenes, the opportunity gap and occupational segregation emerge as silent architects of the racial pay gap. It's like solving a mystery where multiple factors create complex economic conditions. Addressing these issues requires a comprehensive approach beyond individual efforts, focusing on dismantling systemic barriers perpetuating inequality. In this matter of economic inequality, a reality appears. The system is designed in a way that keeps poverty among Black individuals. The system seems to act as a roadblock, hindering the economic progress of Black people. Escaping this cycle of poverty becomes difficult, and it is achieved only by a fortunate few who manage to navigate the systemic challenges. The scarcity of success stories highlights the barriers that stand in the way of financial upliftment for the majority. So, if you are a Black person trying to be rich, best of luck. Do you think black people will get the same opportunities as white? What problems do you face as a black person in America? Will it ever be possible to become rich in America as a black? Let us know in the comments section if you think the state is behind all this. Would you like us to make more videos? If yes, please support us by subscribing to the Black History Archives and clicking the bell icon. You can check out more videos on our channel too.